So I appreciate y'all. We about to interview Jack Reiss as it relates to the Shawn Porter versus Earl Spence fight, and I think it's just incredibly important that we get his take on the fight, set this up, and his vernacular. I think it's important because it's probably going to be fight of the year. And I think it's just incredible that we get his perspective. So I'm going to call Jack Reiss now, and we're going to get it in. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and here we go.
Hey, Rick, how you doing, my man?
Hey, how you feel, Jack Reiss? How you feeling today, man?
I am feeling great. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
Oh, wonderful. You at the consulate, huh? About to get some stamps, huh? About to get some stamps on that passport?
No, actually, I'm done already at consulate.
Uh-huh.
I'm waiting to get my phone fixed, but I'm good. What were you saying about the consulate and stuff?
No, I was saying you about to get some stamps on your passport?
Yeah, I got to do some stuff.
Okay, beautiful, man. I first I want to say thank you, and I think this is going to be like one of the historical landmark interviews because people always forget, because I think this may be fight of the year. It's the leading candidate for fight of the year, and people always forget the third wheel in the ring. You know what I mean? Like people always forget the grandparents that raised the parents that raised the great child. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just wonderful that we get a chance to hear your perspective on the fight, man. And so yeah, man. Walk us through that day before we get into it. What's Jack Reiss day like fight night or fight morning? Like, what's your build up to actually walking into Staples Center?
Well, that's a great question. So, over the years, I've developed my own routine to get me in the zone, ready to go, and be able to be fully focused and concentrating on the fight, the 12 full rounds, and deal with all the stuff that goes on before. And I treat myself like a fighter.
Wow.
The day before, I had the rules meeting to run. So I showed up, did the rules meeting, and then I went back to my hotel, relaxed, had a good meal, went to bed early, woke up the next day, had a little bit of breakfast, and I went back to bed. Even though I wasn't sleeping, I just stayed in bed till it was time for me to get up and get going and get to the arena. And I got up, got dressed and showered and all that stuff, and went and had a really nice meal. I took a little bit of carbs, no soda, obviously no alcohol, lots of hydration, some not energy drinks, some electrolyte type drinks, malt water, and things like that to keep my electrolytes up. One of the problems with concentration in the ring, the fighter as well as anybody else, is you got to be hydrated because drowsiness and lack of concentration is the first thing that goes when you're dehydrated. And a lot of guys, it sounds silly, but a lot of guys, myself included years ago, didn't want to have to, use the restroom right before I went in the ring or God forbid during the ring, during the fight.
Yeah.
So they don't drink and they don't eat a lot. And I've taken the total 180-degree approach from that lately. And over the last 7 to 10 years, I eat a really good meal and I keep myself hydrated throughout the day before and the day of. I'm checking my urine when I go to the bathroom to make sure it's clear. Any kind of dark yellow means that you're dehydrated. I'm just, running it like if I was an athlete and perform so I can concentrate and move for 12 rounds.
And I find it quite interesting that you actually stayed at the hotel because you live in California. You know what I mean? You decided not to take that drive.
Well, it's not that. They require me to come down to the rules meeting the day before when it's a championship fight. And I live, as the crow flies, I live 65 miles away, but it's a 2 to 2.5 hour drive each way in LA traffic. So the promoter's good enough and the commission's good enough that when they ask me to do a rules meeting, sometimes they'll get up at 4 in the afternoon on a Friday. It'll take me 3 hours to get home and then turn around the next morning. So they just put me up for the night.
What's the rules meetings like? And
oh,
and who attends?
You know, next time you're at a fight with me, why don't you join me for a rules meeting?
Okay, thank you.
It goes on after the weigh-in. What happens is, you know, the day before the fight, within 24 hours, they weigh in. Then after the weigh-in, they go select their gloves. You mark their gloves, which one's their first.
You actually mark them. You mark them, or the commission marks them?
Commission.
Okay, gotcha.
But I'm their assistant.
Gotcha.
With it.
Interesting.
Then the chief second, or whoever, one representative for each camp of the championship fights.
Who were the two representatives? Who were the two representatives for each team?
The cup man, I forgot his name.
Hal.
The Spanish guy. Hal came in for the Porter camp, and then the Spence sent the cut guy. Raul, I think his name was Vega.
Okay.
I can't remember his name.
Okay, beautiful.
Two great guys.
Okay.
And we sit and we go over the unified rules of boxing, but I don't read the rules. I don't sit there and just read something to them. With each rule, I give them a scenario and what it means. Okay,
makes sense.
So this rule states if this happens in the ring, this is the rule. This is how we're going to handle it. A guy gets knocked out of the ring. He gets 20 seconds unassisted by his cornerman to get back in the ring. So fighter A hits fighter B. He gets knocked out of the ring. He's got to be up and back into the ring before I count to 20. If he gets into the ring by 7 or 8, I still have to give him a mandatory 18 count. I'm not stalling, but we're going to give him a mandatory 18 count, check his condition, and let him go. I also tell him stuff like, look, he's supposed to be unassisted by anybody, but we follow the spirit of the law. We follow common sense. So if one of the fans or one of the cameramen help this guy, I'm not going to disqualify the guy.
Sure.
That's not what the fans came to see. So we explain that so the corners aren't jumping out of their minds if you know, their fighter knocks another fighter out of the ring and some fan helps him and we don't DQ him. They understood. We addressed it the day before.
Got you. Because the tendency is the human spirit as a fan or as someone working is if you see someone falling, it's to actually help them. You know what I mean? And that's a great concept, not to actually punish the fighter for a person acting like a human being. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And how about this? I'll never, if I don't have to, I will never punish the fighter for the actions of his corner. You say as you could, but I'll throw the corner guy out, but I'm not going to. The fans came to see two fighters
go
to its natural conclusion. If the cornerman's a jerk, I throw him out of the corner. Other people might disqualify the fighter, and it could happen with me, and that's what I tell them the day before. Let me tell you something else in the spirit of the law, okay? It's very simple. We had a situation a couple months back where it was an undercard fight, but it was, you know, for those guys, it was a very important fight.
Sure.
And they're going at it, and it's getting close to the end of the round. And they were going at it pretty good. And just before the 10-second warning came, there was a slight lull in the action. And then the timekeeper clacked the clacker 3 times. One of the fighters thought it was the bell, dropped his guard, turned his back, and started walking away. The other fighter, in his sense of fairness, didn't go take a pot shot right away, but then realized, hey, he's supposed to protect himself, and he went in to hit this defenseless guy, not even looking at him. The referee jumped in and stopped him. And said, hey, you turn around, the round's not over. That was a 10-second warning. And they went back to fighting and finished the round. There were a lot of boxing, I don't know what you want to call them, purists, I don't know, you know what I mean? But there were a lot of people in boxing, not a lot, but there were people said the referee shouldn't have done that because a boxer has to protect himself at all times.
Sure.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. How do I leave my commission in a good defensible position when I allowed a defenseless guy to get hurt? How do I look at this guy's parents in the face if he gets killed? He gets knocked out, jaw broke, maybe it's stupid. So sometimes the letter of the law doesn't work and the spirit of the law has to be put into effect. You can't let a fighter that can't defend himself take a shot not looking like that. And listen, if he did it the second time, I'd take points away. But you know what I mean? But some people would say it's wrong. No, it's the spirit of the law, common sense.
Now, you're at
How do you feel about
No, I think the best results whatever gives the best results, and you got to make a split-second decision. You understand what I'm saying? And naturally,
Yeah.
honestly, like from that perspective, I'm still not truly happy with the Victor Ortiz finish. You get what I'm saying? And I love Joe Cortez. I'm not. This is not against him, but I wish Victor Ortiz would have got the chance to like regain himself and actually have the fight continue, because actually Victor Ortiz was gaining a little bit momentum. I don't think he would have beat Floyd Mayweather. I don't want people to think that, but I'm just saying I would have loved to see Victor Ortiz actually fight. You get what I'm saying?
Yes. So let me try to paraphrase what you're saying and see if you agree and understand
Okay.
where I'm going with it.
Okay.
If there's an opportunity for something that's a gray area of the rules happens, and we get the opportunity to allow the fighter to recover for a couple of seconds, whatever it is, a minute, whatever it is, so we can let this fight go to its natural conclusion, it's always better to do that, because that's what the fans and the promoters and everybody pay to come and see. They don't pay to see us disqualify a guy. It's always better to let the two fighters settle it between themselves.
No one likes
it. And I follow that. But I want to go back to my situation. Listen, my primary job is safety of the fighter. And I don't care what the rule is. I can't let a defenseless guy get hit. Because you know what I'm saying? I can't let a defenseless fighter get hit because he thought he heard the bell. I'll stop it. I'll change it. The second time he does it, I'll take points. But this was an accidental, inadvertent thing the guy did. And just because it says the fighter has to protect himself at all times, it's somebody's child. You can't do that.
And that's why you keep on getting rehired. That's why you keep on doing the main event. You know what I mean? No, for real. It said something to your credit. And everybody know I'm not the one to kiss a lot of ass, but I was very impressed with how you ref that fight. I was I even told you I was interviewing. Coincidentally, I was interviewing Deontay Wilder. As soon as I got done finishing Deontay Wilder, you stepped out the ring, and I was like, Jack, you did a hell of a job, because I forgot about you. I forgot you were in the ring. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and that's a compliment to you.
Supposed to be.
And in order for a great fight to happen, you got to let the fighters figure it out. In my humble opinion, you got to let the fighters figure it out. Like, okay, well, he's coming here, he's coming there, he's clinching, but he's going to get a punch off. He's going to step back. See how they respond to the clinching. See how they respond to a non-violent, accidental low blow, head blood, clinching, holding, whatever. See how they respond to it. Earl never looked at you. Shawn, I believe he only looked at you one time. I don't know what round that was. But
no, you know what? Unfortunately, you don't get to see this because you guys, they don't put you guys right up front. But anyone around the ring would know if they would have heard me and saw. See how many times I warned Errol Spence? See how many times I warned Shawn Porter to keep them in line? So let me explain it to you.
I'm listening.
In the ring, just like in life, there's infractions, misdemeanors, and felonies.
Sure.
Those shots that were borderline on the belt, and a couple of them did stay low. There were no felonies. It was all misdemeanors and infractions. And I gave it the proper amount of attention it needed. I didn't treat a misdemeanor like a felony and go screaming and taking points. You're not paying me to take points and change the course of the fight by one round. It's funny. People want to see great fights. The great fights are being made, and then they end up being really close fights. And then people complain when their guy don't win.
Yeah.
It was a great fight. It was close. You're going to have differences of opinion.
Sure.
And in this case, multiple warnings to both guys, and let me tell you why. But they were soft warnings, and they were medium warnings, and there were silent warnings where nobody heard me except people right around the ring and the fighters. So this is a world championship fight with both guys coming in incredible condition. They have emotions, adrenaline involved. It's going to be ugly for the first couple of rounds. It always is. And you've got to do what you can to steer them to calm down. After 4 or 5 rounds, their adrenaline settles and they settle into a good fight. In this case, it took 6 rounds because those guys are in such great shape. But clearly, I want you and everybody to know, I warned him again, warned him a third time. I went into the corner between rounds. I spoke to Errol and Derek.
Mm-hmm.
I went into the corner between rounds. I spoke to Kenny and Shawn, addressed what I needed to with both of them. But there was nothing that happened that needed for a point or something to be taken away. It was misdemeanors. And Shawn, unfortunately, not him, there was an oversight on their part. His trunks were extremely high.
Gotcha.
And the shots that were hitting on the belt line appeared to be low. They were not.
Is that challenging for you to see the difference when the trunks are high?
Of course.
Do you have to guesstimate or?
Of course, I'm guesstimating, but I have a technique I use to do that. I know where the belt line is before. Shawn is short waisted. He was pulling Errol's head down a couple of times. That caused blows to go low because he pulled his head down when Errol was going for the body. But all in all, it's below the waistline. It doesn't address on the waistline. It's below the waistline.
Gotcha.
If I think they're starting to go south, I say, hey, you're getting close. Keep them up. And that's all that's needed, Frederick. I don't have to make it a felony. I just let them know I saw it and knock it off. You know what I mean?
What was the
and you could see in Shawn, pictures of Shawn, his lat muscles were below his waist, the waistband of his trunks.
Okay.
That's how high up his trunks are.
I'll definitely take a look at that for sure.
And I want you to notice something else.
Yes.
There's an old saying I have, and, when I was growing up as a kid, when I raised my kids, and now as a boxing referee, no harm, no foul. Shawn didn't react to any of those shots because they were on the cuff, they were on the waistline, they were on a spot that didn't affect him too bad. Because he never reacted, he kept fighting.
Yeah.
He would have reacted if there would have been some kind of, big reaction. I would have said, stop, fine, gave him up to 5 minutes to recover. Didn't need to.
Yeah. He actually did say, come on. He gave you like a side eye and, but it was actually at the end of the round or something like that, was it? Or something?
What happened is he got hit with a shot on the hip. But I said, Shawn, you pulled his head down. He goes, yeah, I got you. He did. He pulled his head down. And let me say something to you, too.
Yes.
And I have the utmost respect for Kenny Porter. I understand he's passionate about his son.
Sure.
I totally understand. I have no ill feelings towards him. This is just a difference of opinion. This is where I ran the fight. The promoters, the fans, nobody had a problem with me trying to accept him, and he's involved, and I understand that. Nothing but the utmost respect. And Shawn Porter, unbelievable. I have so much respect, and I love that kid so much. He's just a great ambassador to boxing.
He's a great ambassador. I agree. I agree.
He has dignity in his wins and his losses. Keeps his dignity. And I'll tell you, the Shawn Porter that fought Errol Spence the other night, it's going to be hard to find someone to beat that Shawn Porter.
Wow.
That was a great Shawn Porter. And Errol Spence fought a tough son of a gun. He did not back up. He fought Shawn's fight and said, you want to bring this? I'm bringing it too. And they went at it. It was a great fight. So you can't have something that might be the fight of the year candidate. I'm going to interrupt him every 30 seconds.
Yeah, you could have too, because they were fighting in close quarters. You know what I mean? There were some excessive holding. Like I even said this. I even said this in my post-fight reaction video. People, some pundits said there were some low blows. I said Shawn was probably doing some excessive holding, especially at the end of rounds. When Shawn felt he had won the round, you can see him throughout the rounds, in my humble opinion, try and condense the rounds. You know what I mean? You didn't step in and say, hey, Shawn, you held the last round. Stop the holding. You let Earl kind of figure it out. And Earl kind of figured it out. He tried to step back a little bit. He kind of stepped to the side on Shawn and kept his left hand open. And Shawn kind of led with the left hook. Now he led with the left hook late in the fight and then clinched. It was a whole bunch of cerebral stuff going on between the two. And in my humble opinion, that can't happen if you're not in the ring, not doing a great job. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, listen, I appreciate the fact that you get it, and I'm going to say it this way. You have no idea how much I appreciate that a boxing writer or a boxing person like yourself that does, commentary an interviewer gets it. But here's his bottom line. This ain't tennis. This is a fight. And they were trying to impose their wills on each other. And if you go back and you watch Gotti Ward or Hagler Hearn, there were low blows, punch flying the head. There was all kinds of bumps and pushing, heads coming together. And Cappuccino and Richard Steele let it play out.
Sure.
10 years later, 5 years, a year later, from then on, nobody's talking about them. Any fouls, they're talking about what great fights they were.
Absolutely right.
That's what the story with this.
What was the conversation like between you and Kenny Porter? I heard in other interviews that Kenny Porter said something to you, and was there a continuous conversation, or was it just for one round? Because I read the article and you said
go ahead. Listen, sorry for interrupting you.
No, go ahead. You good, Jack.
In the heat of battle, people say things, and people remember things differently when it's all over.
Gotcha.
First of all, there's nothing but respect and admiration from me to him, and I feel it's the same from him to me. We had three or something fights before this. He's never had a bad word, never had a complaint about anything I did. So let's put that off the table. This is just, a trainer being passionate about his guy and me doing the job that I thought he was best. And when I go in the corner, it's not going to be pretty. He's going to say what's on his mind, and I get it. I don't take it personal. And all he said was, I'm seeing a lot of low blows. And I said, Kenny, his trunks are high, and he's pulling his head down. They all weren't low. And Kenny kind of threw his hands up and turned away. That was it.
And that's the only conversation you guys actually had in terms of back and forth?
And after the fight, we were smiling at each other. There was no, there's no malice towards each other.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
There isn't. Some people try to make something out of it. Something like that.
No, he's in the heat of the battle as well. And he also has to do a job at getting the rematch. You get what I'm saying? He has to sell, like, if this hadn't happened, we would have won the fight. And I thought Team Porter.
I got no problem with that, brother.
Yeah.
I got no problem with everything you're saying.
And I thought Team Porter did a hell of a job preparing Shawn Porter for that war. If you want to call it that, it was a hellacious fight, And
let me tell you something. He did a hell of a job, but don't forget Barry Hunter, who was one of the best trainers in the world. He is like the coolest cat in the corner.
He is.
He never comes to a fight. That I can ever remember bringing an opponent, some guy that's just a piece of meat being brought in. When you see Barry Hunter in the corner, you got a fight on your hands and that fighter. And then they were both genius to bring that guy who worked on Shawn's cardio.
Oh, Coach Larry Wade, yes.
I don't know the gentleman, but let me tell you something. When he got dropped in the 11th round, he got up.
Tell us exactly what you saw. Tell us because some people say, "Oh, it wasn't a knockdown." Well, it was a knockdown, but tell us exactly what you saw because people think a knockdown is, oh, the motherfucker rolls. Excuse me, Jack. He rolls over and he can't see. He's seeing stars, but there's different forms of knockdowns. But please explain. Tell us exactly what you saw.
Frederick, you're doing a great educational thing for boxing right now because you're throwing these softballs that I can educate the public. Let me tell you what a knockdown is. A knockdown is from a legal punch, anytime, any part of a fighter's body other than the soles of his feet touch the canvas, or from a legal punch if the fighter is hanging helplessly over the ropes, or from a legal punch there before the ropes, that guy be in the third row. In this case, he got cracked with a beautiful left hand, and it staggered him. He started going down, and his left hand touched the canvas to break his fall. And his strength and his conditioning was great. He immediately popped up. But when I get over there, he was not in 100% condition. He was about at 60%.
60?
He was dazed. I don't know. I'm just coming up with that number.
Gotcha.
Okay? And when I got to the count of 4 and 5, man, he was back to 100%. And by 8, he was yelling at Spence, "Come on, bring it!"
I saw that. We all saw it. That got the crowd hyped for sure.
And I want to go back to explain that is a tribute to his cardiovascular training. That's a tribute to what they did with him in this training camp.
Yeah, they definitely did a hell of a job. Was there any conversations in the ring between the two that you can recall?
Oh, man, they were judge-jacking with each other.
They were? They were? I can't tell that. Tell us what they were saying.
I don't know. It was all nonsense. Like, yeah, bring it, or what do you think of that? Like, like everyone was looking at him after the knockdown on 11, like, yeah, what do you think now? We got
really?
one more type stuff. And yeah, it was normal, normal.
Nothing stood out.
Looked and a little bit of grunt, but it wasn't like, no person or nothing like that. It was just
okay.
A couple of words here and there.
Tell me something. Round 10, a song came on, right? Earl Spence, could you remember that moment in the fight? Round 10, Earl Spence got off the came out round 10, kind of hype, gave a little bit more effort. Could you see that in the ring? Or
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay, yeah, around about the 10th round. Did you have any conversation with Derek James as it relates to the fight during the fight?
No, the only thing, the last, I believe, because, it's been a week or so already, I believe the last conversation I had was Derek in the 6th round, and they didn't even answer me. They just listened. I just went over and I said something basically like, he's starting to get to the point where it's excessive on the low blows. He's got to stop. And I didn't see a low blow after that.
Wow. Okay. Now, when the final bell sounds, what's your job? I know what your job is, but I'm just trying to so everybody know. Ding, ding, ding. It's going to the scorecards. What's Jack Reiss' job from there?
Well, my job is to keep them separated and make sure they go back to their respective corners without any extracurricular activity. And if they want to embrace, I'm happy that they're sportsmen about it. Do that. But I get them back to their corners. The inspectors come in and take that over. We have enough inspectors to make sure we're not going to have, craziness like you've seen in fights before. And then my job is to let the scorecards give it in and get ready when, like in this case, Jimmy Glenn Jr. came in the ring. I brought him to center and try to hear the announcement.
And you don't know the decision at all?
Not only do I not know, it is so loud in there, I sometimes can't hear the announcer.
Wow. Wow. Damn, I didn't know that. Like no, I knew you didn't know the decision, but in terms of the sound.
Yeah, it's the echo back into the ring. Makes it tough. The fighters, the young guys, they can hear, and then you see the corner guys going crazy, whatever, which guy won. If you don't exactly hear it.
Now, when you raise Earl Spence's hand as the winner, what happens there? Is there any type of dialogue besides congratulations and you shake Kenny Porter's hand, Shawn Porter's hand?
No, I just, I stay between them so that the inspectors, respectively take control of them. I try to get the camera guys who work very hard, the photographers who want to get their money shot with the referee and the corner people and the winner holding their hand. But we sometimes can't do that because they want to interview the winner and then they want to interview the loser. So I just tell the guys, hey, after you're done with your interview, I'm going to come back to you. We can let these photographers get their pictures. And I stay the hell out of the way.
Now, is it your job or the commission's job to take the gloves off, to make sure that they take the gloves off?
Commission.
The commission. So you have no control about them. So the commission makes sure that their hand wraps the good and all that. You're not in charge of that.
The commission checks it. The opposing dressing room is allowed to send a representative in to watch the opposing fighters wrap and bring up any concerns at that time. But if no one has concerns, the inspector signs it off. And, a few minutes before showtime, they're going to put the gloves on them, and the inspector will put the tape over it. And what I do, when they come in the ring, before the start of the fight, I check the weight of the gloves.
Oh, wow.
To make sure I check the weights to make sure they're both the correct, in this case, 8 ounces.
8 ounces.
And I make sure that the tape is not lumpy or creased, that it can cause the cut going by the guy's face. I'll have it retaped. If it is.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, was there, before we get back to the finale, was there any conversations pre-fight that you had with Kenny Porter and Shawn Porter or Derek James and Earl Spence of substance?
Yeah, in the dressing room.
Yeah, in the dressing room, yes.
Yeah. So, I go in and I'd love for you to join me in that as well.
Thank you.
Come to a rules meeting. You're at the fight. You got to let me know ahead of time. I'll get your credentials so you can cover this as a journalist.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. you will hear when I go into the dressing room, the pre-fight instructions. It's simple. I'm not going over the rules. I'm not going over the ABC rules. Whatever. That was the day before the rules meeting. I'm just telling the fighters what they can expect from me, my verbal commands, my hand gestures, and what I expect from them. It's pretty simple. And what happened this time is that there was a lot of jaw jacking between Derek James and Kenny Porter.
Yes.
And Derek was pretty amped up. Wasn't at me. He was just amped up because, maybe for real, maybe it was just, to get people under their skin. I don't know. But when I went in the dressing room to talk to Errol in the middle of my pre-fight instructions, Derek interrupted on multiple occasions to complain about Shawn Porter's dirtiness. And I immediately told him in a nice way, because I respect these guys. In fact, I'm going to say something that you might think is weird. I'm not a young guy anymore, and a lot of these guys can kick my ass today. Maybe not when I was younger. Maybe not when I was younger. But they can kick my ass today, and I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to treat someone with disrespect because of the position I hold. I treat them like a gentleman. I treat them like a man. I won't say anything to these guys that I wouldn't be comfortable saying in a bar over a beer.
Wow. Okay.
When you see me in between two guys in the beginning of a fight, I don't say you must obey my commands. I'm not telling a grown-ass adult, especially a black gentleman, you must obey me. I say to the guys, fellas, please listen and follow my request.
Oh, that's kind of it.
Dude, if they don't, then I take action. But it's not about obeying me. It's about fighting fair, fighting clean.
Okay.
So anyway, in the dressing room, Derek is pretty boisterous. And I told him, you got to stop. And I said, listen, I want you to know unequivocally, I am not going to do anything to change Shawn's style or Errol's style. I'm going to let them fight their fight. This is not tennis. This is a righty against a lefty. And I told him right now, I said, look, I'm telling you now, their feet will get tied up, their heads will clash, blows will go astray, and you cannot start screaming the first time it happens because you're going to distract your fighter. And I said, I will do my job. I will address them as they come up. And everything that Derek was worried about is virtually non-existent. There were 2 times their head came together. One of them caused
a small abrasion on his left side. Yeah.
But in a 12-round fight, that's damn clean for this magnitude and this level of fighting.
Now, you raise Earl Spence. I'm trying to paint this beautiful narrative in this interview because people never get this perspective. So don't feel bad if I'm asking you remedial questions, but I'm asking for the fans abroad. You raise his hand, right? And they announce the winner. He gets the belts. Y'all do y'all photo ops. What's Jack Reiss' next move? Like, what do you have any obligations or?
No, once the inspectors take them over and the interviews, are done and they step out of the ring, I go collect my goods and go to the back room and we have a post-fight meeting with the commission.
Oh wow, okay. And what happens in the post-fight commission? Or is it your health or is it the fighters?
The commission meets with all of the officials and goes over rounds of the judging that we might not have been happy with, or rounds that were close in the last. The judges, what their opinion was, what they saw in that round. Sometimes you'll tell a judge, "Hey, I want you to go home and watch this round again.
Gotcha.
Tell me if you whatever." And if he has a problem with the referee's action, he'll mention it at the time in the dressing room. Hey, Jack, I thought there was a knockdown here. There wasn't a knockdown here.
Gotcha.
I thought, whatever.
Gotcha.
And you'll go over it, and you'll explain yourself, and sometimes he'll give you remedial action too. And you just get a chance to sound off and express yourself.
Okay. Now, once you leave the Staples Center, what does Jack do? You drive home or do you go to your hotel room and stay the night? And part 2, when did you know that this had the potential to be fight of the year? Did you believe it when you at the end of round 12 or after you started hearing it through the echoes of Saturday night?
Well, the answer to the first part is, it's a long day. So, man, I just want to have something to eat, something to rehydrate myself. So, I get together with the other officials and we find a restaurant to be alone, and 6 or 8 of us will go and have, sometimes with the inspectors, there's a dozen or more, and we just go and sit and share the evening and enjoy the evening and have a nice meal. And then I get in my car and I need to go back to the hotel room when I go home. And when I get home, my wife lets me know in no uncertain terms, you might have been the man in the ring last night. But today, you're the bitch taking out the garbage and picking up the dog
shit. When did you know it was fight of the year? Or in my humble opinion, I think this fight to be fight of the year. But did you know at the end of round 12, or did you know Sunday morning? Feel it Sunday morning.
I knew it was a great fight. No, I can't say about the fight of the year. I knew it was a great fight by the way they were going at it. There was no backing up from either of them. The only time they backed up was to catch a breather. So I knew I was involved in a great fight. But I didn't know about anybody thinking it was a fight of the year. So, people approached me and said, hey, that's a fight of the year candidate, and, whatever.
Now, did you learn anything about Shawn Porter, Earl Spence that night? And 2, have you ever reffed them before in the past? And how many times?
I refereed Shawn a couple, 3 times. I've never reffed Earl, but I learned a lot about these guys. And here's what I learned. Both of these guys they're special.
They're special.
They showed up to win. People say, myself or other people use the word great or hero too many times. They did everything that was asked of them. They all did. They came in at 147, right on the nose. They were happy. They were upbeat during the weigh-in. There was no starving to make weight. They came in happy, upbeat, ready to go in incredible physical condition. Cut up. Hard as a rock.
They both were. Yeah. Absolutely right.
And they went in that ring and tried to beat the crap out of each other, but 12 straight rounds. No excuses from either. Errol Spence, instead of boxing, abandoned his boxing to let Porter come at him so he can get to that body.
Yeah.
Whereas most people thought Spence was going to box and move for a while. He said, nope, this is 2 guys that know each other for a long time, and said, it's mano-a-mano, let's go for it. And look at Shawn Porter, look at the condition he was in. Look at what he brought to that fight.
Shawn brought everything. Shawn brought everything. I was very impressed with Shawn.
And Errol said, you bring your everything, I'm bringing mine, Kyle. And it was a great fight for that reason.
It was. So did you have Shawn for who did you have Shawn for, if I may ask? Bonnier?
Say that again?
Who did you have Shawn Porter for in the past? What fights?
Ugas, and I had him for, I can't remember the other 1 or 2 fighters.
Kell Brook, Eric Bonnier?
No, it might have been Bonnier. It might have been Eric Bonnier. I think there might have been one more. I don't know.
Okay.
Chia or Thurman. I get them confused.
Okay. Well, the fact of the matter is that you did a great job. In my humble opinion, I'm not the one that'll compliment refs. I'm not but I forgot you were there. Didn't I say, I looked at you, Jack, and I said, Jack, you did a hell of a job last night. I was 10 feet away from you. I said, you did a hell of a job, man. You know what I mean? And
let me say something. It means the world to me, and the fact that what you said is that you forgot I was there. It tells me I did my job, because instead of breaking them, often like if Errol walked Shawn to the ropes, and they got the little clinch, instead of saying stop and break and making Errol walk him all the way back down again, and verbally got him out of the clinch and kept punching. I must have broke him verbally 30 times.
Wow.
4 rounds.
Wow.
You go back and look at it. Let each other go. Work at it.
I'm going to watch it from your perspective now. I'm going to try and watch it as best I can. And so many subscribers are as well. Yeah.
I didn't penalize anybody for a clinch. Look, sometimes they were clinching to take both of them leading the breather. But I'm not going to rush in and break it, because there's a flow to that fight. And I tried to let the natural flow go and keep them fighting. You take a look at how many times I've heard people.
I'm definitely gonna watch it now. Now I'm juiced to watch it again. You know what I mean? Is there a song you listen to with pre-fight? Like fighters get in their mode. Shawn listens to gospel music. Earl Spence listens to Yellow Beezy. Who do you listen to?
I got a pre-fight stuff that I listen to in the hotel room. I got a whole genre of music that I listen to.
Okay.
Go with my good pre-fight good listening. Different songs, just relax me. Then hard classic rock and roll. Hard rock and roll.
Oh, hard rock and roll. Okay.
Thunders, stuff like Thunderstruck.
Okay.
AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, U2, Rolling Stones. Because I'm going into battle, and I got I can't go into battle. Look, I'm not
any Queen in there?
That?
Any Queen in there?
Oh, hell yeah.
That was our high school song coming out. We will.
Fat Bottom Girls.
Oh, man.
But all it does is get me pumped up, to pay attention, to get in there. And here's something I do, too. I don't ever pray for an easy fight. I never pray for an easy fight. I pray that God will give me anything I need to handle anything I'm thrown at. That's it.
Wow.
And that's why I get pumped up with the rock music, because it ain't going to be pretty.
No, it's not. You're right.
It's a fight.
It's a fight. It's like a tale of three cities. Shawn is listening to gospel. Earl is listening to hip hop, and you listening to hard rock. Oh, that's funny. That's funny, man. Anything else you want to add to this, man? Go ahead.
All I'm trying to do is stay out of the way and let them write the story. I'm like I look at myself as an orchestra leader, conducting an orchestra.
Sure.
And the best analogy I can give you is sometimes the drummer's playing a little too loud. I'm not going to stop the music and tell them, hey, calm down and ruin the piece.
Gotcha.
Just kind of say, hey, keep that down and keep it going. Then all of a sudden it settles into a beautiful piece of music.
And it was. I mean, Shawn has 2 Hall of Fame performances, Keith Thurman and Earl Spence. He has, how many fighters gets 2 Fight of the Years? You know what I mean? He has 2 Fight of the Year potential. We'll know January, February, but I can't see a fight outdoing this one, especially with all the marbles on the line. It's definitely a great honor to have, so.
Oh, yeah, must be. I wish I could experience that.
Do you get an award for that as well? By the way, do you get an award?
Nothing. But I can only imagine what it would feel like to be a fighter. A fight of the year type of thing. Actually, I just can only imagine it. Unbelievable. Because I think inside of us, we're all frustrated fighters.
Man, anything else you want to add to this, man? I appreciate you giving us 45 minutes. Wow, this was the fastest 45 minutes of my day.
Thank you for the opportunity to give an insider's view of what happened. Thank you for an opportunity to give my perspective. Because a lot of people just criticize and you never hear from anybody. So at least I get a chance to explain, what my job is as a professional, is to take the fighter and try to do everything we can to let them settle it between themselves. Before that, I don't know if you had that out there. So thank you.
No, I thought you did an extraordinary job.
Thanks.
And no, for real. I was very impressed, and I'll
give you that couple $100 next time.
And man, I just want to say thank you, because I think this is an important interview, because one, people don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and you gave a detailed account that fans will never ever get an example of, or actually see. Fans will never see this. You can get the most expensive seat in the arena. We can't get your perspective. You understand?
Also, I guess yes, I totally agree with you. But now also, maybe the fan will, and yourself, you'll relook at this fight and you go, oh yeah, he wasn't letting them go. He was trying to let the flow. He was trying to get them out of the clinches. He was trying to do this, and they'll understand what the ref's doing. He's trying not to be seen and still conduct this orchestra. And it can't be bad. It's got to only be good for boxing when that happens.
It's great for boxing.
People understand more.
It was a great balance, and this is October. It's the month of the Libra. You did a great job balancing this, because Shawn was holding. Shawn headbutted a couple times. Earl went borderline maybe a couple times. let the motherfuckers fight. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? In my humble opinion, that's how I summarize it. I thought you did an extraordinary job, and
I appreciate it very much, Eric. I really do.
And we'll talk soon.
I hope everybody feels that way. And I can tell you one thing: I might not be perfect. Of course, nobody is. But I can absolutely fucking promise you that when I get in there, I'm going to give you my best. I'm going to be rested, alert. I'm ready to let what's going to happen in front of me play out. And I'm not going to make any excuses. If I miss something, I miss something. But it's not because I was tired or distracted or I didn't care.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I really care about this. I love this. I'm passionate about boxing. I love those kids, man. They're true warriors, and I feel honored to be in their presence.
Yeah,
I've learned so much from fighters that have helped me in my personal life. And I'll give you one metaphor that I've learned through being a boxing referee. I've always looked at guys that are taking a beating and don't quit. I said to myself, how do they do it? How do they take this punishment and get up and come out for their next round? And I realized what it is. A lot of people have anxiety. A lot of people play a what-if game in their mind. And the fighters that are true warriors, they get their ass kicked in the third round. They sit down on their stools. They're not thinking about, oh, shit, I got 9 more rounds of this. Oh, shit, what am I going to do? All they're thinking about is making adjustments and taking it one round at a time. And I think the metaphor is when we are overwhelmed in our personal lives, don't worry about rounds 9, 10, 11, and 12. Just worry about the round in front of you. Take care of that round, go back, take a rest, and go out for the next round. You could just, your whole life could be like that.
Sure.
We all get, we all have these things happen to us.
Sure. Have you ever gotten a gift from a fighter, a random gift like you didn't expect? A fighter?
Absolutely not.
No, never,
Absolutely
ever?
Not.
Never, ever?
No.
That's funny. I find that pretty ironic. You know what I mean?
Nah.
Well, when you get inducted to the Hall of Fame, people are gonna go back and, well, you're definitely going in the California Hall of Fame for sure. 1,000%.
I'm already in there.
Oh yeah. So when you get to Minnesota,
yeah, I'd love to. I hope from your mouth to God's ears, but all I want to do is just keep being part of this, and so I can't do it anymore. And listen, you got to let me know early.
I will. I will. Oh, for sure.
I want you to see the
I want the fans to see it. I think it's important.
I don't know if we can taste it.
No. Oh, we can't take. Okay, got you.
I don't know, but you can sure report on it.
Okay, got you. And I damn sure will. And I appreciate it, because this ain't. I want people to know this ain't the first time he's invited me just because he's on camera. I've just never taken him up on it. You know what I mean? So thank you much, man. I appreciate you. And this is a very important interview.
Transparency. It's all about transparency. I'm not. We referees, we're not hiding stuff. The more the fans see what goes on behind the scenes, the more they'll realize we're in there to give the fans a great fight as well. Safety, but we really want to give the fans a great fight the best we can.
Gotcha. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, and thank you.
All the time. Appreciate you, Jack. Thank you.
All right.
All the time. All the time. Thank you. Jack Reiss, man. What a fucking interview, man. Like, man, I don't know about y'all, but I was a history major in college, guys. So I love the nuts and bolts, what goes on behind the scenes, things people don't see, things people can't hear, things people can't touch. And I thought he did a very eloquent job at detailing Spence versus Shawn Porter, behind the scenes, what his mindset is, what he goes through. And I think it's just very, very important. And I think that we just, and I know a lot of you guys, because we have this fight was in LA at Staples Center, and Jack Reiss ref the Wilder and Fury fight. I just wanted to isolate this and just focus on this fight, because that's a 2-hour conversation. We spent 48 minutes talking about that fight. So I think it's just very, very important. I think it's very, very important, no matter what people go through in the past, whether you agree or disagree with them. Rick Ross and Drake told us, man, you give people their gold roses while you can. And I thought Jack Reiss did a hell of a job Saturday night, September 20th. I thought Shawn Porter did a hell of a job September 20. I thought Errol Spence did a hell of a job September 20. I thought Derek James did a hell of a job September 28. I thought Kenny Porter did a hell of a job September 28. I thought Larry Wade did a hell of a job. I thought Errol Spence Sr. did a hell of a job. And everybody involved. And that culminates into Fight of the Year. And I think we have Fight of the Year on our hands. And I was just happy that I was able to do my little part. And, you know, I appreciate Jack Reiss coming on. That's the final piece to the puzzle. I'm sure we'll hear from Errol Spence soon. We've already heard from Shawn Porter, Kenny Porter. We'll hear from Derek James soon and their team. But hell of an interview. I appreciate you, Jack Reiss. And we on to the next one. Barbershop Conversations. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.